Hello, this is Dr. Budweiser, and I am coming to you directly from the Wiser Living headquarters. And today we're going to talk about something that's traditional fermented foods. I would love to talk about wild fermented foods, but we'll talk about traditional fermented foods first. And the reason why I want to talk about it because fermented foods are something that we buy in the grocery store, but it's not alive. And so today I want to talk about some of the benefits, the features of it. Fermented foods or traditional fermented foods do basically four things that I want to talk about. Number one, it helps to balance the production of stomach acids and decrease the loss of acid as stomach acid as we increase in age. And I'm talking about eating fermented foods like sauerkraut, pickled vegetables, and buttermilk. Number two, it helps the body to produce acetyl or acetylcholine. That's a science word, just means that it's a nerve transmitter that increases bowel movement and alleviates constipation problems. It also improves the release and the digestive juices and enzymes that are critical. Enzymes and digestive juices from the stomach, from the pancreas, and the gallbladder. And I hope you have your gallbladder. Here, fermented foods act as a potent digestive aid. Number three, is that it's beneficial for people with diabetes. And a lot of people have diabetes or they're pre-diabetic. In this instance, carbohydrates and lactic acid that are in the fermented foods have been broken down and pre-digested. So there's no extra burden on the pancreas like it is with ordinary carbohydrates. Now, the fourth reason I think is really critical because it produces many unknown compounds that actually destroy and inhibit the growth of pathogenic bacteria. Pathogenic, kind of like a long word, it means bacteria that can cause inflammation or cause infection. And many pathogenic bacteria, they're sensitive to acidic environments. So, and this is also true of diseases like cholera and typhoid fever. Many of you hear about it from other countries, but not in your country. Well, back in the 50s, the early 50s, during an epidemic of typhoid fever breakout in Europe, they found that sauerkraut, of all things, sauerkraut was effective in killing bacteria. And more recently, German scientists working on a strain of lactic acid bacteria that they found in sourdough bread, they found that it was effective at killing microbes and quickly eliminating bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics. And this is a bacteria, a good bacteria, a happy bacteria. So here you can see that fermented foods are really, really important. When we're talking about bacilli and bacteria and friendly bacteria, Lactobacilli acidophilus is a bacteria that's naturally present in the intestines and the vagina. It's been used as a probiotic or friendly bacteria. It's a bacteria that you definitely want living in your small intestine. Besides coating the mucosal lining of the small intestine, you'll want Lactobacillus acidophilus colonizing. You'll want it protecting the lining of your vagina, cervix, and urethra if you're female and you have one, because Lactobacillus acidophilus will work to produce lactic acid as well as other organic acids to inhibit the adherence and the multiplication of pathogenic microbes, again, those bad guys. So fermented foods are crucial. It's not a luxury. A lot of times we think it's just a luxury, but it is crucial to optimizing your digestive health. And it's saying that, I want to take a look. You can see that there's some product, I call it product, but it's actually food. I should be in a kitchen doing this. But here's some naturally traditional fermented foods that has been created in this household. And so, my wife has done this, and this is amazing, because check this out. Here is a large cabbage. Well, it looks small, but when let's say it's medium. But when you put it up next to a one of these jars here, it's like, how does this fit in here? It's crazy. How are you going to get this in there? This is how I looked at it when she was first doing it, right? And so she chopped it up, and as you can see here, here's a tablespoon of salt. Himalayan sea salt, not that regular stuff that's dead. This is live salt. So this salt, a tablespoon of it, with this cabbage chopped up, and you put it in a bowl and you mush it around and everything. And, you know, you can lick it off your fingers if you want, even though it's good because there's good bacteria in there, right? So, and then you take one of these jars and you smash it in there and you tamp it in. You know, see, my hand is bigger, so you get some kind of wooden tamper or what have you, and you tamp it in really nice and tight. And then you fill it up with some filtered water. Don't use your tap water. Don't use that crazy stuff. Use some filtered water with that 1 tablespoon of salt, and then you seal it. You with the lid. You seal it very tight. You see, I'm picking up different ones. Seal it very tight because you're gonna have to burp it, just like you burp a baby. You burp this every day. Go whoosh. You know, after a couple of days, you're gonna have this bacteria. Which means it's live. And so here you do that, and the next thing you know, and sometimes it takes about up to 4 weeks for it to actually get to where you can consume it. And so this and this salt, put it in here, tightly closed, and in 4 weeks, voila! This is live stuff. And then you kind of like, let me taste it a little bit. I hope you don't hear me crunching, but it's good. Man, you can really savor this. I like to just smash this all over, but that's good. It's good, it's live. I shouldn't be talking while I'm eating. And it's fresh. Matter of fact, there was a lady who sent her homemade sauerkraut to the lab and sent it to the lab to analyze the bacterial content in it, if any. So when she did this, and they basically sent this information back, and here's her finding. 1 tablespoon of brine. Brine is the liquid stuff here, right? 1 tablespoon of brine equaled 1.1 million bacteria, and 80% was lactobacilli. 80%. So 10 grams of sauerkraut. That's a few bites. I just did a few bites, right? I did 2 bites. I got 10 million. I have 4 million bacteria going into my body right now, with at least 75% lactobacilli. Now you can do this. Matter of fact, here's some fermented carrots. This is a fermented daikon. Here's some fermented okra and fermented beets, and here's a combination of carrot, and I think we have a little daikon in here, and turmeric. This is fantastic. Matter of fact, we are eating healthy here. And I get to, there's a lot of things that I do with research and everything, making these videos for you guys. And then, my wife is the one that's doing all of this, and she loves doing this. And then, you know what? And we love consuming it. And so, once again, I want to say, fermented foods are crucial to optimal digestive health. Don't go get your buttermilk and your pickled veggies and your sauerkraut and your pickled beets and thinking that from the store, and thinking that it's going to be live. They have not only processed it, they have pasteurized it. The bacteria are gone. And so you're going to have to buy a probiotic, which you can. But here's a beautiful way to do this, and you can get your favorite one. You can just about ferment any kind of food. There's a list of foods that you can ferment. So with that, I'm going to stop here. I don't want to make the video too long because then, you may have things to do. But if you look at the bottom across here, you'll see that there's going to be links to the Wiser Living website where you can get not only the recipes, but some other information as well. So make sure you go to wiserliving.com and get these valuable recipes. And so with that, I want to leave you with this. Please let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be your food. This is Dr. Budweiser, and we'll see you next time. Delicious. See you later.